You step outside. The air is finally changing. You grab your pruning shears, ready to shape your garden for the new season. But then you hesitate. What if you make the wrong cut? What if you snip off all of this year's flowers? Or worse, damage your favorite tree forever? That fear is real, and it keeps so many beautiful gardens from reaching their full potential. Well, today that fear ends. In this video, I'm going to reveal the 7 most common and most destructive pruning mistakes people make in March. By the end, you'll know exactly what to cut, when to cut, and how to do it with total confidence, unlocking the most explosive growth your garden has ever seen. So, why is March such a high-stakes month for pruning? It's a time of transition. Most of your deciduous trees and shrubs are still in dormancy, or just beginning to wake up. This is the sweet spot. Pruning a plant while it's dormant is like performing surgery while the patient is asleep. The plant is less stressed, and the risk of disease or pest infestation through the open cut is much lower. It's also way easier for you to see what you're doing. Without a canopy of leaves, you can clearly see the plant's structure, identify crossing branches, and visualize the final shape. But this timing is a double-edged sword. As the sap starts to flow, the plant is pouring energy into developing buds. A wrong move now doesn't just remove a branch, it can redirect the plant's entire energy for the season, sometimes with disastrous results. First, let's talk about the biggest mistake of all, pruning the wrong plants at the wrong time. This is where most gardeners go wrong. The golden rule is simple. In late winter or early March, you should prune shrubs that flower in the summer on new wood. Let me repeat that, on new wood. This means the plant will grow new stems this spring, and the flowers will form on that brand new growth. By pruning them now, you are actually encouraging the plant to produce a ton of new flower-bearing stems. Think of plants like panicle hydrangeas, butterfly bush, and rose of Sharon. Cutting these back now results in a more compact plant with a much bigger and better flower show in July and August. If you leave them alone, they can become leggy and produce fewer, smaller blooms. We'll show a clear graphic here, illustrating a stem with buds that will turn into new growth and then flowers later in the summer. Now for the flip side, which is just as important. The second deadly sin is pruning your spring flowering shrubs. These are the plants that bring that first magical burst of color to the garden, like forsythia, lilacs, azaleas, and rhododendrons. Their secret is that they formed their flower buds last year on what we call old wood. These buds have been sitting there all winter, just waiting for the right moment to burst open. If you take your shears to a lilac bush in March, you are literally cutting off every single flower for the upcoming season. It's a heartbreaking mistake. The correct time to prune these plants is immediately after they finish flowering in the spring. This gives them the entire growing season to produce new growth and set new flower buds for the following year. Imagine a big red stop sign over a beautiful forsythia to really drive this point home. Let's move on to the third mistake. Using dull, dirty tools. It might seem like a small detail, but it makes a world of difference. Using a dull blade crushes the plant's tissues instead of making a clean slice. This ragged wound is much harder for the plant to heal and creates a wide-open invitation for diseases and pests to move in. You wouldn't want a surgeon operating on you with a rusty butter knife, right? The same principle applies here. Before you start, take a few minutes to sharpen your pruners and loppers. Also, make sure to clean them. Wipe the blades with a cloth soaked in rubbing alcohol or a 10% bleach solution, especially when moving from one plant to another. This prevents you from accidentally spreading fungal spores or bacteria from a diseased plant to a healthy one. It's a simple step that can save you a lot of trouble down the road. The fourth sin is ignoring the 3 Ds. This is the absolute foundation of good pruning, no matter what plant you're working on. The 3 Ds stand for dead, damaged, and diseased. This is your first priority. Before you even think about shaping the plant, you need to conduct a health check. Scan the tree or shrub for any branches that are obviously dead, with no signs of life, dry, and brittle. Cut those out. Look for branches that were damaged by winter snow, wind, or are broken. Cut those back to a healthy point. Finally, inspect for any signs of disease, like cankers, strange growths, or discolored bark. Removing this wood is critical for the plant's overall health and prevents the problem from spreading. This type of pruning can be done at almost any time of year, but it's easiest to spot in March before the leaves emerge. Okay, let's get technical with mistake number 5, making the wrong kind of cut. Where you cut and the angle of that cut are incredibly important. a common error is leaving a long, ugly stub when you remove a branch. This stub will die back and can become a point of entry for rot and disease. The opposite mistake is a flush cut, where you cut so close to the main stem that you damage the branch collar. That little swollen area at the base of a branch is full of specialized cells that help the plant heal the wound quickly. You want to cut just outside of that collar, and the angle matters too. Always make your cuts at a 45-degree angle with the slope facing away from the bud. This allows water to run off easily, preventing it from pooling on the cut surface and causing rot. We'll show a super clear, slow-motion close-up of the perfect cut right above an outward-facing bud. Let's zoom in on a specific category with mistake number 6, butchering your fruit trees. Many people either go way too aggressive or are far too timid when pruning trees like apples and pears. The goal is not just to make the tree smaller. The goal is to create an open framework that allows sunlight and air to reach all parts of the tree. This is vital for ripening fruit and preventing fungal diseases. A great starting point after removing the 3 Ds is to eliminate any branches that are crossing or rubbing against each other. Then, work on creating a nice, open, vase-like shape. You want to remove weak, vertical shoots, often called water sprouts, and any suckers growing from the base. A well-pruned fruit tree may look a little bare in March, but it will reward you with a much healthier structure and a more bountiful harvest in the fall. The 7th deadly sin is giving your roses the wrong haircut. Roses can be intimidating, but most modern roses, like hybrid teas and floribundas, love a hard prune in the early spring, just as the buds begin to swell. The mistake is being too gentle. People leave too many weak, spindly canes, resulting in a cluttered bush with small flowers. Don't be afraid to be bold. You want to cut the entire bush back, leaving only 3 to 5 of the strongest, healthiest canes. Cut these remaining canes down to about 12 to 18 inches from the ground. Always make your cut just above an outward-facing bud. This tells the rose to send its new growth outwards, creating a more open and attractive shape. This hard reset channels all of the plant's energy into producing big, strong, flower-bearing stems. We'll show a dramatic before and after of a messy rose bush transformed into a clean, well-pruned structure. And finally, the last mistake that happens after the work is supposedly done: leaving a mess. You've made all the perfect cuts, you've shaped your shrubs beautifully, and now you have a pile of branches on the ground. The sin is walking away and leaving it there. This isn't just about looking tidy. That pile of pruned debris can be a breeding ground for pests and diseases. Fungal spores on diseased clippings can easily reinfect your healthy plants. By taking the time to rake up and properly dispose of all your cuttings, you are completing the job and protecting your garden. For healthy wood, you can shred it for mulch or compost it, but always be sure to burn or throw away any wood that showed signs of disease. Think of it as the final, crucial step in your plant's annual health checkup. A clean garden is a healthy garden. So there you have it, the 7 deadly sins of March pruning. It all boils down to a few key ideas. Know which plants to prune now and which ones to wait on. Always use sharp, clean tools. Focus on removing the dead, damaged, and diseased wood first, and pay attention to the location and angle of every single cut. It might seem like a lot to remember, but I promise it quickly becomes second nature. By avoiding these common mistakes, you're not just cutting branches. You are actively partnering with your plants, guiding their growth, and setting them up for a season of incredible health and beauty. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this guide helpful, please give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe for more simple, effective gardening advice. Now, I have a question for you. What is the one plant in your garden you are most nervous or confused about pruning? Let me know in the comments below, and let's help each other grow.